Well, Matthew Saltmarsh is from the United Nations Refugee Agency and joins us now. Hello, Matthew. So we're hearing lots of figures. What do you know about the number of people in Lebanon who are on the move due to these strikes?
Good afternoon. Well, the situation is devastating, as you've been hearing. The latest figures that we've seen are that some 100,000 people, as of last night, had moved primarily from the south. But that was on top, of course, of a larger number who had already been displaced prior to the latest escalation. So you're looking at some couple of 100,000, and quite possibly those figures could rise depending on the level of attacks as we see them. Those people are cramming into vehicles, getting into buses, any way that they can to try to get north, maybe to Beirut, Mount Lebanon, the area around there, further north. But one of the big worries, of course, is that the strikes are not being confined to the south, as we've heard around Lebanon, also in the Bekaa. So some people have actually moved north to the border with Syria as well.
Talk to me about the efforts to look after these people. I know that the UNHCR is working with a number of groups and organizations and also with the government. What are you able to provide for them?
Well, Lebanon is a country that knows suffering all too well, very sadly. Some decades ago, it had its own civil war, previous invasion from Israel, and then more recently, the influx of Syrian refugees who came post-2011 amid the civil war in Syria. So it's a country that's been racked by uncertainty, displacement, humanitarian crisis for many, many years. So we are in the country, obviously. We have a significant presence. We're working with partners. We're working under the government to try to locate the best shelters, temporary accommodation that can house people. And on that, we ask that all those who need it, all those who are displaced, should be able to access that shelter. That's the first step. And then it's bringing in water, food, medical supplies, psychosocial support, trauma support, just to help with that immediate shock of displacement.
Of course, it all depends on how long this bombardment continues, but what contingency plans do you have in place? What sort of numbers of refugees are you trying to plan for?
Well, there's already, according to the government's estimate, some 1.5 million refugees in the country, Syrian primarily, some other numbers of refugees, slightly smaller as well. And the country has suffered a significant economic shock. So the needs are huge in the country. We do have supplies pre-positioned within the country, but also in the region. And as long as it's safe to do so, more can be brought in. So that's the contingency plan. We work with the government. We work with a number of partners just to make sure that we can provide those basic essentials for this period of turmoil right now.